than I see you. And what is implied over there, that I see God more clearly than I see you, is the Vijnan which takes over every waking moment of our life. His teacher, Sri Ramakrishna Paramhams, was in Samadhi all the time, in Bhava Samadhi with Bhagavan. So everybody wants to see Bhagavan, but nobody wants to put the effort that is required to see Bhagavan. Vijnan is the steps that we take towards the Tatpada. Tvampada, we have understood ourselves to be the absolute from the study of chapters 2 up to 6. But over here, as we make a leap into that absolute reality, we also need to make that leap. And Bhagavan says, yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya chitumicchati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadamyaham. Whatever thoughts that we have, whatever desires that we have, we only see that. And we complain that we don't see God. We have a desire to eat pizza, we are going to end up in a pizza restaurant. Some Mexican food, we are going to end up in Mexican restaurant. It's not that we have a desire for Chinese food and we go to eat Italian food. Wherever the desire is, the desire will take us to the locus where there is a fulfillment of that desire. This is true for all beings, not just human beings, all beings. A cow looks for grass. The early bird looks for a worm. Some other birds, they look for seeds. So each one of them, as per the program of the Prakriti, the whole Shrushti moves on. But the uniqueness of the human Prakriti, as per whatever is ordained by the Absolute, as per what is ordained by our own Vasanamaya Kosha, that is where we end up. So Bhagavan says, Yaha, whoever, yam tanum bhakta, whatever form tanum bhaktaha, that person comes to worship, shraddhaya architumicchati, with great faith they go towards it, tasya achalam shraddham, Bhagavan says, that alone desire, that alone faith, I strengthen, achalam shraddham. In the earlier, shraddhaya architum, over here, achalam shraddham vidadamyaham, I give them great faith towards it. That's all. We cannot expect to see Bhagavan and have desire for all worldly things. That's not possible. So if we have a desire for a noble, righteous life, we have to flood our own antakarana with that. Only then the actions will come out good. So that is the basis of what Bhagavan is saying over here. Shraddha is the deep faith that we have in our ability to fulfill our desires. Initially, that is Shraddha. We take it for granted, but that's how our life starts. Without that leap of faith in my own ability to make myself happy, I won't embark upon that path. So, That is what Bhagavan is saying. Even you cannot make a teenager do what they don't want to do. It's a very young Prakriti filled with Rajoguna. And if that boy has determined, no, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. Why? I have desire to do the other thing. So that desire, in order to act upon that desire, there is an underlying element of faith to act upon it, to fulfill it, to experience the end result of joy. So when time and again we act upon that desire, and when we fulfill it, that desire strengthens, and that is what Bhagavan is saying. Tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadamyaham. Shloka 21 we are looking at, that I strengthen that, Bhagavan says, and this is how we find ourselves in doing various things that we do in our life. We don't realize that it is a faith which is the underlying principle for our pravrutti in that particular direction. Prayojam anudishya manda api na pravartate. Even a dull-witted person without having a prayojan, a desire to fulfill something, won't act upon it. Manda api. Even a person who is not well informed, even they will think about it. Oh, why do I want to do this? Oh, I'm going to get this much out of it. Okay, then I will do it. So our Shraddha gets strengthened. So only when we act upon each one of our actions systematically, when we transform our living, when we wake up with Karagre Vasiti Lakshmi, touch the Mother Earth, with understanding, pick up the toothbrush, brush, and as the water is flowing, we remember the Varuna Devata, Vanaspati Devata with brushing. Every moment when we are in sync with the world, Bhagavan strengthens that vritti. That is how Shraddha is built. And eventually it becomes a habit, but not just a habit, but an invoked habit. It is invoked. And thus, our devotion grows. Our devotion and delight for living our life, it grows in leaps and bounds. Even the tiniest little thing will make that person happy because they seek delight in the moment. The delight is not to be experienced later on in time as the fruit of the action, but they make the action itself a privilege. And the act of doing an action itself is a fruit and not the fruit. The fruit which is born of it becomes a blessing of Bhagavan. And whatever fruit arrives, they are willing to accept it. Because the action itself is sadhana. The sadhya vastu that they seek from action itself is in the action. Bhagavan continues, shloka number 22. Sataya Shraddhaya Yuktaha Tasyaradhanamihate Labate Chatata Kaman Mayyeva Vidatan Hitan. Bhagavan says, Saha Taya Shraddha Yuktaha. Such a person endowed with such deep faith in living a life of moment to moment to moment invocation of Paramatma, Saha, that person with great faith offering all to Bhagavan, Tasya, of that person, Aradhana Mihate, engage. Aradhanam, the Aradhya Bhagavan, Aradhana, the worship itself, ihate, engage in it, labate satata kaman. Such a person gains the fulfillment of desire right there and then. And the fulfillment of desire is inexplicable happiness in that moment. It is not Vishaya Janit Anand. It is born out of contentment. I'm offering this to Bhagavan. And such a Bhagavan says, Mayyeva Vihitan Hitan, as ordained by me, I create a path for them to come knocking on the doors of Parabrahma. Bhutala Bhakti Padartha Motu Brahma Lokama Nahire. The very beautiful bhajan of Narsi Mehta is right here. Bhutala Bhakti Padartha Motu. On this Bhuloka, the greatest is Bhakti. And what is this Bhakti? Brahma Lokama Nahire. The desire for taking bath in the Brahma Lok, the Bhakti itself is the ambrosia which gives them the bath here and now and cleanses them. This is a vision of that maiden living in Gokul, in Vrindavan, whose life is filled with the presence of Krishna. Every moment, whether she's milking the cow, whether she's churning the butter, whether she's cooking food, feeding family, the Gopika's mind is filled with Bhagavan. That is the Bhutala Bhakti Padartha Motu. Harina Janato Muktina Mage Mange Janamo Janama Avatarade. Such a person doesn't ask for mukti, asks for, you give me as many births you want, Krishna, but your awareness should be there every moment. For I won't be just unmanifest Brahman. I will be manifest Brahman, consciously invoking you. Why do I seek mukti? I don't. I want to dwell in this awareness of you every waking moment. That is Vijnana. This Gopika Geet, if in Bhagavatam, if we listen to it, it is pure Jnanam, pure knowledge. They are not just some, women crazy after Krishna. They are great, great rishis who had desire to live a life of awareness. And Bhagavan gave them special birth as Gopikas. This is what Bhagavan is saying. Labate chatata kaman. A person, because the desire is nirmal. It is innocent. It is pure. It is divine. Even in Harry Potter, a novel for children, over there, Harry stands in front of the mirror of Erised. And Dumbledore comes over there and says, Harry, this mirror of Erised neither gives knowledge nor wisdom. Many a men have wasted their lives in front of the mirror of Erised. A wise person looks at the mirror of Erised and sees themselves exactly who they are. For what is reflecting alone is fulfillment. And mirror of Erised is E-R-I-S-E-D. It is D-E-S-I-R-E. It is mirror of mind, desire spelled backwards. Till today, nobody has been satisfied with the desires reflected in the mind. Not a single human being. We have to transcend the mind to be happy. A wise man looks at the mirror of the mind and sees themselves for who they are. The mind does not give neither knowledge nor wisdom. If we rely on this mind, we will be lost. So we have to take this mind and turn its direction towards the higher. That is Vijnana. To reteach this old dog the new trick of living in awareness. This is what Bhagavan is saying. If we act upon these kamanas, just like a dry leaf in the middle of a windstorm, what will be the gati of the dry leaf? Where will it end up? A blade of grass uprooted in a hurricane, where will it end up? Giant trees become toothpicks and end up far away. What to talk about the tornadoes and the hurricanes within the mind, born out of intense desires, fanned by desires, the tornadoes which take us from birth to birth to birth to birth. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. How many wombs have we entered because of one desire? भगवान says, ऐसे तो भगवान मिलने वाले हैं ही नहीं. Bhagavan's not going to be available if we succumb to our prakruti, prakruta thinking. But when we lead it to the higher, it becomes a cause for absolute fulfillment. Forget about mukti. Mukti becomes secondary. The life itself becomes a joy. That is what Bhagavan is saying. Bhagavan says over here, Maya eva vihitan hi kaman labhate. Such a person gains whatever desires I want them to enjoy because they have given their mind to me. And Bhagavan says, another way of looking at it, Maya eva vihitan hitan kaman labate. They will gain desires which are good for them. Hitan kaman or hitan kaman, those desires alone. It's a pun in the Sanskrit language put over here by Vedvyas Maharshi Ji. Both, they will see desires which they never expected, and they will see desires which are the best among the best. Both they will gain because Shraddhaya architum ichchati. With great faith, they are choosing me, the Lord of the universe. He has Lakshmi Ji at his disposal by his feet. And on Deepavali, we run after his wife without addressing him. You think she's going to come to you? First, we have to go to Tirumala. And only then we have to go to Lakshmi Ji, which is at the base of the mountain. Alamu is sitting down there. She wants us to climb that hill, first meet her Lord. Getting Lakshmi is quite easy. But Narayana, because thought is required. Without effort, you will not climb Tirumala. Coming down is very easy. And then after climbing, days of lying. Because he will decide when he will see you. That also depends upon Bhagya. How much punya we have accumulated. We can, those who have the power, position, money, they can pay and get some ticket and go in front. Right at that time, they will pull the curtain. Your money has gone. The curtain has come. Getting Bhagavan, we have to want him. He's not a subject matter over a cup of coffee in Starbucks. Have you met God? It's not a casual conversation. It's a life transformation. Bhagavan wants to see how much we want to give ourselves to him. Antavantu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Bhagavan says, tu alpamedasam tesham tad phalam antavantu. Those whose mind and intellect complex, alpamedasam, those whose intelligence and mind are of inferior quality. For such people, tesham phalam antavattu, the fulfillment of their desires into the fruit are, Bhagavan says, finite. If we chase desires from morning till evening, those people who are money-minded, money, 9 to 5, after money, they will do anything. Okay, chalo, even after all this, how much money will they get? Whatever they get, they will not be satisfied. The Gujarati Patel business owner, one motel, then double it, 2 motels, then 4 motels, then 8 motels. Like bacteria, they multiply in motels. You think there is going to be an end to it? Even 50 motels, 100 they want to do. Where is the time to sit down and think about Narayana? 1 million not enough, 2 not enough, 5 not enough, 10 not enough. That's what Bhagavan is saying. Phalam antavattu. It will never be enough in their eyes. Power, local mayor, then the county, then the local state government representative, then the state senate, and then the governor, then the state representative in the House of Representatives in Washington, then Senate, trying out for now presidency. It goes on, power, position, name, whatever we try for, it is never enough. 80 years old and still want to run for presidency. What to do? So many people, they hold on to that position in board, but just for saying, I'm in the board. What are you doing? Nothing. Wasting my time and others, because the ones who want to work, they won't allow them to come. This is how the world goes on. So Bhagavan says, the Alpamedasam, he has created Prakriti as though it is manufacturer's defect. Lagate raho. 1 birth, 2nd birth, 3rd birth. But on the other hand, Devan Devayajo Yanti Mad Bhaktaha Mamapi Yanti. But on the other hand, the one who is of not inferior intelligence, who is simple, noble, good, quiet, silent, from inside. Outside, people may think he's such a worldly man. But inside, there are no strings of attachment. Only one Ram Naam goes on. Even such people's death is beautiful. Quietly, they slip in the middle of the night. Won't even know. Time is ready. Whoever they want to say goodbye to, they've said. Whatever they want to give, they've given. Without advertising, they will move out. Such are noble people. Bhagavan says, such people, Devan, Devayajo Yanti, my devotees, they come to me and me alone. Continuing, Shloka 24. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyate mama buddhayaha param bhavam janantaha mamavyayamanotamam. Sorry. So, abuddhayaha, those who are of inferior intelligence, Bhagavan says, abuddhayaha mama avyaya, my undecaying anuttamam, exalted, superior, param bhavam, my absolute nature, my absolute being, ajanantaha, not knowing that those people, avyaktam, vyaktim, apannam manyate. They think that the absolute unmanifest has manifested over here. This is what they think, not knowing that the absolute never manifests. What is manifested is actually a vast illusion. And they look for me in the illusory world. You try to beat a rock, to squeeze out of rock a glass of water. Is it possible? That rock can never produce water. The mirage in the desert, how much water will we get to quench our thirst with the mirage water? In the same way, those people of inferior intellect look for Bhagavan in the manifested world. Bhagavan says, not knowing that my absolute nature is unmanifest. So that unmanifest has to be known. And that known has to be practiced. So I'm not in their Vijnan. I'm not in their awareness. How will they find me? But the ones whose minds are filled with Bhagavan, knowing that he is absolute, he can only be captured in the cage of the mind of awareness. He cannot be captured in the vast cage of Prakriti. Infinite Bhagavan. We cannot capture him outside. But on the inside, when we make the intellect and mind subtle, divine, pure, in that mind, we can truly see Bhagavan. The Manas Sarovar, the lake, it is known as Manas Sarovar. Manas is mind, lake of the mind. When it is still, the Shiva can be reflected perfectly and you would not know which one is real. The reflection of Kailasha or the Kailasha, because they both look the same. But if that Manasa Sarovar is filled with waves of desire, the reflection of Kailasha will be continuously wobbling. We cannot see it. And if it is dirty, muddy water, what reflection? Nothing will reflect. That's why in Lalita Sahasranam, it is said that Muni Manasa Raja Hamsika, she is the one who swims as a royal swan in the lakes of Munis. She is the divine consciousness. Chidagni Kunda Sambhuta, born out of the fire of consciousness. She alone is this royal swan. So Bhagavan is saying, few days ago we saw this, Nirakhne gaganama, kaun ghumi rahyo, tej hu, shabd bole. You know, Look in the vast space of the mind with the noise of the desire when it silences. Who fills up the space of silence in the mind? The sound which says, I am, I am, I am. Aham ahamiti atma swarupena bhati. I am, I am. Ramana Maharshi ji says, it shines as aham ahamiti. Tejahu, tejahu, shabda bole. That alone I am. Is a beautiful shloka. Therefore, Bhagavan continues, he says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mamajam avyayam. Bhagavan says, yogamaya samavrita. This very great, by the veil of this Maya, created by me, Yoga Maya. She's been created by me. And Yoga Maya sarvasya na aham prakashaha. I am not revealing myself. I'm not revealed through this great Maya. I'm not manifest to all in my real nature, veiled by this Yoga Maya. Mudaha ayam na abhijananti janati. The dull-witted one, the inferior understanding one doesn't know. Lokaha mama ajam avyayam, my nature of ajam, the unborn self. Avyayam, the unimperishing, undecaying, absolute nature of mine, not available. This is Vijnana. Knowledge is knowing what is Ajaha, Amrutaha, Avyayaha. Knowing what is Ajaha. The word means unborn. Avyaya, not decaying. Anuttamam, Paramam, absolute, highest. We have to know these words and then apply them. What is avyaya? Imperishing. What perishes? All that comes in contact with me perishes. The pluralistic world, experience arises, it is sustained, and it moves on. Not a single object is permanent. Not a single situation is permanent. Then what is permanent? Even my thoughts are not permanent. My desires are not permanent. Then what is permanent? I am. Who is this I? This I is unborn. This I is unmanifest. This light of awareness ever is. So if it ever is, how do I come closer to it? I have to invoke it. How do I invoke it? Just like just like I act upon all different thoughts, let me act upon the thought of invoking and be with this thought. And the next moment invoke it. And the next moment invoke it. And in this way, continuously invoke the unborn self. And in no time, I'm only invoking the self. And in no time, I am with the self. And in no time, I am the self. I'm never apart from it. This is what Bhagavan is saying. This is how we find God. In this world, Yoga Maya Samavruttaha. In Yoga Maya, we will not find Bhagavan. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Bhagavan says, hey Arjuna, aham veda samatitani. I know all that has been past. Samatitani, samyak atitani, all of them which has gone, the past. Vartamanani, and what is happening in this moment. Bhavishyani cha bhutani, and all the beings of the past which are not yet arrived, I know all of them. But me, nobody knows me. People study history and people study everything in the now to further science for tomorrow. And they predict tomorrow. But the ability with which they have studied the history and the science and are able to make some predictions, it is with me they are doing it, and yet they don't know me. Mam tu veda na kaschana. Nobody knows me. Peculiar are these people who are ever with me, and yet they've never known me. No Vijnan. Space, the final frontier. All those things we have conquered. But we have not conquered the kingdom of mind. One silent rishi sitting underneath a tree in the Himalayas has known it all. Vijnan is to know that because of which all is known. Continuing, Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Oh. Bhagavan says over here, Ichha dvesha samuthena, born out of samyak uthena, born out of ichha, desire, dvesh, hatred, arisen from desire and aversion. Gurudev says, dvandva mohena, completely deluded by duality. Sarva bhutani sammoham, all beings deluded by this vast illusion casted by Maya, live Maya in front of us. Sarge yanti parantapa. Hey parantapa, sarge yanti. They appear knocking on the doors of the creation of tomorrow. Meaning, they will take rebirth because there is no realization. They have not come to know me. Sarge yanti parantapa. They are subject to delusion at birth. Because they have knocked the doors of creation for yet another birth. And another birth goes in Ichha and Dvesha, desire and hatred. And that creates more vasanas. And again, they will knock on the door of creation. And again, they will come back. And again, this will go on. Many vasanas we have gathered that forces us into Punah Janma. Bhagavan gives the reason for Rahasya of Punah Janma is our inability to dwell in Vijnan. Our inability to dwell in Vijnan is the reason why we take birth again and again and again. Continuing, Yesham Tvantagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam Te Dvandva Moha Nirmuktaha Bhajante Mam Drudavrataha. Now Bhagavan says, Yesham, in those people, tu Antagatam Papam, the weight of the sin is gone. What is sin? Sin is when we act upon desires. What is punya? When we act upon vijnan. That is punya. Please don't think that we are tortured and tormented because of the sins. We are tortured and tormented by our sins because we have invoked them. If we stop invoking them, we will not be tortured. So, Bhagavan is saying those people in whom Papa is gone, Jananam Punya Karmanam, they are positively the doers of good. How? You imagine who can do a papachara karma when every moment they have invoked Bhagavan? Who can do a papachara karma? So indirectly Bhagavan is saying, if you invoke me in all, you can never do a pap karma. And positively, your sins will end. And te dvandva moha nirmuktaha. Right there and there, they are liberated from the delusion of Maya. Bhajante mam druda vrataha, because the vrata that they have taken, the vow that they have taken is druda. And what is that? Mam bhajante, they invoke me. That is why this is going to be elaborated in 9th chapter. This is a seed for 9th chapter. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam. The key over there is ananya chintanam. The one who has invoked me, druda vrata, he says over here. 9th chapter, he replaces it with Ananyas chintayanto mam. They have found me. They have found me. They have found me. Such people are blessed ones who have not even a trace of pap left in the system. The very invocation of Bhagavan. That energy is so powerful. It not only fills the inside antakarana, it leaks out and fills the very room, the home, the neighborhood. Wherever Gurudev went, there's a powerhouse of energy. Silently, Raman Maharshiji sat on the base of Arunachala. And the energy that came out of him, presence of Lord Shiva. He himself was Shiva. People only went and cracked a coconut in front of Bhagavan in the temple. But he was the one who was radiating Shiva. He's filled with it. Why? Bhagavan says, Bhajante mam dhrudavrataha. Silently, he would just be in samadhi of Shivji. Bas, nothing else. What can this person do? Who will they injure? A little ant which is biting him, he will gently pick it up so that it is not squished and put it on the side. An ant he could not injure. The squirrels would come into his lap and eat out of him. You think any one of the squirrels in our backyard would come to us? Because they know this antakarana is filled with all sorts of nonsense. We don't know when that man will grab me and put me in the cage. The squirrel knows that the man is capable of doing it. But those squirrels in Tiruvannamalai and monkeys knew this man cannot injure them. People would leave bananas in front of Raman Maharshi Ji. Monkeys will come and take one or two, and they always made sure they left two for him. Even if a little baby hungry one is going, the mother's like, this is for him. Monkeys had that much awareness in front of him. They started living in Vignan. આપણે તો કેટલા ભૂંડા ઠર્યા. જડ બુદ્ધિ. That is the Chit Chaitanya which fills up. Jara marana mokshaya mama shritya yatantiye te brahmatad vidukrutsnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. Jara marana mokshaya mama shritya yatantiye. Those who strive for liberation, jara marana mokshaya, for liberation from jara, old age, marana, death, all those things, mokshaya, to be liberated from this death and old age, mam ashritya, those who take resort to me, yatanti, who puts effort, te brahma tadviduhu, those people who want to know Brahman. Krutsnam in its entirety, adhyatmam karma chakhilam. Those people engage in this adhyatma jnana knowledge to attain liberation from birth and death. Bhagavan says that they take refuge in me for the sake of liberation. But liberation is here and now if you invoke me. But anyway, Bhagavan has said these words for Arjuna to instigate Arjuna to ask him question. What are these words? Again, Sadi bhutadi daivam mam sadi yajnam cha ye viduhu prayana kale pichamam te vidur yukta chetasaha. So Bhagavan says, Sadi bhuta, Sa adhibhuta. What? And then so what is this adhibhut? Sa adhiyajnam, sadhiyajnam. What is this adhiyajnam? I'm not going to tell you because you have to read chapter 8. This is trailer for chapter 8. So Bhagavan is giving a glimpse. So now Arjuna will ask, what is this Adi Yajna? In the beginning of 8th chapter, what is this Adi Yajna, Bhagavan? What is this Adi Bhut? What is this Adi Daivam? What are all these words you are using? Where are you pulling them out from? So Prayana Kale Pichamam, even at the time of death, if they remember, Yukta Chetasaha, those whose mind are integrated, whatever sadhana that they have done to integrate. Let's say they were not able to live in awareness, but they understood knowledge. And whatever sadhana they could do, they did. And punya, with punya, at the end of their life, they were able to remember me. So, what is in stock for such people? Cliffhanger, Gita Jnana Yajna for 8th chapter we have to do to get an answer for this. I'm so glad we were able to see 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is a beautiful chapter. In my eyes, my personal bias towards it, Karma Yoga is talked about, Bhakti is talked about, knowledge is talked about, Upasana is talked about. Practice and Upasana is the height of this chapter as Vijnana. It is a complete chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But each chapter, if we do a good study, they all stand on their own pedestal. Such is the glory of Vyas Maharshi Ji. In the month of Kartik, the month for Lord Shiva, we were able to see this Bhagavad Gita. We started this chapter last week, last Monday, and now we have completed chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. I thank this team of Chinmaya Mission Pittsburgh for arranging this virtual Gnan Yajna. I'm looking forward to January, where I'm going to stop all virtual yajnas and start doing some. We have to go back to our normal way of having a live yajna, because there is an inexplicable energy of the presence of the place where words are uttered. And that cannot be captured in this electronic medium, no matter how good we create the electronics. It is, after all, a matter. It will never be able to have sparsha of consciousness. For that, a conscious being has to be there. So hopefully in person, we will see other chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Upanishads are there. So many other things are there. So I thank all of you for your time and wonderful time you gave me for me to do loud reflection on Bhagavad Gita. It is always a joy to re-utter the words of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. It sinks in more and more. And the deeper his words sink into us, the more dirt comes out so that we can forever remain with him and his words. I invoke the grace and blessings of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Vedvyas Maharshi Ji, and our own Pujya Gurudev, who was our Vyas Maharshi Ji and Krishna, both rolled up in one, because of whom we have this platform of mission to learn and to grow. May the blessings of Pujya Gurudev always guide us from inside out. May Bhagavan Krishna create a bhagya for us to dwell in Vijnana. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. When are we doing chapter 8? We will see when we will do chapter 8.
Swamiji, you gave us the trailer, so January face to face.
Not January. I already have January, February, March all lined up. So Yajnas, I've already started working on that because I really want to embark upon our work of Gurudev in person.
Swamiji, our Chinmaya Amarnath hopefully will be open by like April, May. So that's when I think Swamiji has to come to our center and give a live Gnana Yajna.
Good. We'll do that.
So Satish, you want to?
Swamiji, we'd like to ask Shantanu, one of our members, to say a few words about Swamiji's discourse, if that's okay.
Sure. I am going to put gallery view so I can see everyone.
Of course, Swamiji.
Okay, go ahead. Shantanuji.
Everybody, please turn on your videos. Swamiji wants to have a gallery view. Please, whoever can, please turn on your videos.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. So Hari Om, everybody. And Swamiji, it was amazing experience for us to walk through this journey in chapter 7, starting right from what does Jnana and Vijnana mean and how one can use it to get an understanding of what Ishvara is and how to understand it. I was taking some notes as the days were passing by, and some of the words that we had seen and heard in the past came back with a newer meaning that kind of shed a different light on those words and how they all tie together. So the way this entire Jnana Yajna progressed was very useful in understanding meaning of those words and piecing it together, starting right from, the lower prakritis and definition of jivas, jagatas, and ishwaras, and tying it with three gunas, right? And then the dream state and maya, and ultimately what defines a concept of ishwara, which is your Karan Brahma. And then, but still it's a little bit abstract, right? So the idea of Vijnana, meaning explanation of what that ishwara is and how one can actually see physically, maybe touch it in that way. And then you tied it very well with the concept of mind, and then one having that calm and quiet in mind, being able to interpret the concept of Ishvara and being at peace with it. So that entire journey from abstract towards something tangible was very nicely done in these past few days, and we are eternally grateful for you for walking us through that journey. it was amazing experience. Not that we claim we understood everything that was said here. Probably we'll need to do it more often, do more satsangas and get a good and true understanding of it. But I think you have shown us the light and the path in which we can keep on continuing this journey. So with that, once again, I would like to kind of offer our gratitude and thanks, sincere thanks from behalf of Chinmaya Mission Pittsburgh. And I hope that we get a chance to participate in these Dhyana Yajnas more and more in future. Once again,
Thank you so much.
Thank you and Hari Om.
Hari Om.
So Swami,
Thank you, Shantanu.
is it okay if you do Aarti now?
Swamiji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shantanu-ji, are you ready with the Aarti? Sujana, can you sing the Aarti? I think they wanted to do the Aarti. Or Shantanu-ji, are you able to sing also? I wasn't sure. So
No, we would just hold the tabak and Aarti. If you're able to do it from that side, that would be great.
Sujana,
So Veena is just getting the tabak ready. She'll be here in a minute.
right, sure.
Thank you. No, guys.
While they're getting ready, you're all welcome to say something to Swamiji, all of you.
They're ready.
Oh, okay.
Swamiji, thank you so much. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Go ahead. We'll do the Aarti.
आरती सद्गुरु की चरणों में उनके शांति समाए शरणागत की भ्रांति मिटाए पाप ताप संताप हरण की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की वेदोपनिषद गीता को गाया धर्म सनातन फिर से जगाया शुद्ध नीति प्रीति शंकर की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की सिद्ध बारिकी तपोभूमि में नित्य विराजे गुरु हमारे भक्त हृदय आनंद श्लोक की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की
बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय.
Thank you, Swamiji, and thank you everyone for joining. We will post all of the recordings of Swamiji's discourse on the CMP website. So please refer to that if you want to listen again to anything that Swamiji has said. And also, if you care to offer Guru Dakshina, there's a link available on our website and also in the chat box. So please use that if you would like. And thank you very much, everybody.
Hari Om, everyone. Thank you so much. Namaste to everyone. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.